everyone, my name's Jack here on Star Wars Galaxy. Today we're going to be discussing an important topic revolving around Star Wars Episode 9. Now recently there has been some talk, some rumours and a lot of discussion over whether the episode should be split into two parts. Essentially this becomes Star Wars Episode 9, Part 1 and then Part 2. Now none of this has been confirmed by Disney and is so far going to be regarded as rumour and just mere fan discussion. But I wanted to open the discussion to you, my YouTube audience today, to discuss this more and basically see what you thought of it. Now I'm going to give you my personal opinions on it and how I could think it could work. So we learned that Episode 9 will be the end of the Skywalker saga for good. It will be the total end of it. Now, personally I don't think this will be the massive end of it. I wouldn't be surprised if we ever saw a return to it in so many years later. But for now, this will be the end of the Skywalker saga. Now personally, I think there's still quite a lot more left to be told in the Skywalker saga story before we totally end it, and one movie may not be enough for this, so I'm thinking they could potentially work it as a Part 1 and a Part 2. Maybe whether First Order make a grand win, or something like that in the end of Part 1, and then the Resistance fully fight back in Part 2, something like that. They could play it off super well. We already know a few actors are returning, such as Luke Skywalker's coming back, Carrie Fisher, although she is sadly passed, will be returning as Leia. And we also know that Billy D. Williams will be reprising his role as Lando Calrissian. It is going to be quite cool to see how that all plays in it. Personally, I hope that Shriv returns with Lando as well. That could be quite funny. Now, it's going to be interesting to see how all these characters play into it, how the Resistance managed to fight back, and where the story even goes. A lot of theorized so far that the Resistance picks up basically 3 years after The Last Jedi, which could make a lot more sense and fit kind of well. It's not the first time Star Wars movies have done it. We've seen this quite a few times now, especially in the prequels, and I think in between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, it was around about 1 year, I believe, or 2 years. I don't have my dates exactly to hand, but it was at least a little bit of a time jump. So the same thing could happen with Episode 9, and honestly I expect it to happen. It could be quite cool. Now we already know the Resistance are going to have to make a big fight back against the First Order, which is now ruled by Kylo Ren. There has been no talk of whether Snoke will return yet. Personally, I wouldn't be too surprised if Snoke does pop up again. Andy Serkis, the actor who did play him, he skirted around the answer of whether he'd be returning or not in an earlier interview this year, so it could possibly be true. And I would like to see Snoke return. His character always did intrigue me, and it was a shame to see him go in The Last Jedi. Would you guys like to see Snoke return? I definitely would. I'm actually going to be making a video on his origins very soon, so stay tuned for that. So back to Part 1 and Part 2 of Episode 9. Realistically, I think it could work. It definitely provides the grounds to make it something awesome. We reach Episode 1, where we've got Resistance picking up the broken pieces of them starting to build the Alliance again, basically to fight back against the First Order. At the end of the film, we see the First Order still standing strong, but we see the Resistance start to mount up a fleet for maybe a bigger battle in Part 2. Now I think this may upset some fans, as it means they're going to have to wait longer for the conclusion of the Skywalker saga, so Disney may not pursue this course of action. But it is still something to consider when you think about it. Ultimately, I'd like to open up this discussion to you guys. Would you like to see Episode 9 split into two parts? There'll be a poll on this video, but I also want to hear your in-depth comments down below, so make sure to leave your thoughts and opinions. I'm definitely interested. Personally, I think it could work, but at the same time, I wouldn't like to see it split into two, because I'd like to see one conclusion to the Skywalker saga as a whole film, and I wouldn't like to be kept waiting many more years, if you get what I mean. And it's going to be kind of interesting as well to see how this goes, because at the minute, this is the last Star Wars movie we're going to see for quite a while. We know there's some others in the works, such as another anthology film, maybe an Obi-Wan Kenobi or a Boba Fett film, but those details around them have become a little shaky after the failed Solo launch, so it's going to be interesting to see where they actually go. I'm still kind of in tune to see where the series of Star Wars goes. Obviously, we know there's a live-action Star Wars series coming soon, but film-wise at the minute, Episode 9 is the last confirmed film coming at the moment, so it's going to be pretty interesting to see how Disney and the rest of the team play around with it. Ultimately, I want your thoughts down below in the comments, so make sure to leave them down there. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I've been Jack here on Star Wars Galaxy. I do hope you enjoyed the video, and I will catch you next time. Goodbye.